The cruelest lies are born beneath the brightest light. I learned this truth in the winter of my 62nd year, 3 years after my husband Daniel died. Hello, my name is Ila Rivers. I'm 62 years old, and I live alone in a house we call Rivers Hill, just outside Missoula, Montana. As a hospice nurse for 40 years, I've befriended death itself. But that evening, I met something far more terrifying than death. It was Christmas Eve. The ring light in my living room flooded down like Snow White, relentless, inescapable. My daughter-in-law, Lauren, had installed it. Every Tuesday night, Lauren Hart goes live to over 1 million subscribers. Lifestyle creator, Lauren sharing her organic diets, her family moments, her meditation rituals. And so my family became stage actors in her production. That night, the dining table held candles and gold leaf. Lauren had orchestrated what she called a family reconciliation dinner, the first time she'd truly welcomed me into her curated world. My son Benjamin stared out the window at the snow. My granddaughter Clara kept glancing at me, stealing looks. Her eyes had held adult wariness since she was 15. Lauren was smiling toward the camera with that particular brightness. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is special because we have Ila Rivers, my mother-in-law, joining us. How are you, Ila? The Lauren I knew was not using this tone. 3 years ago, she'd stepped on my hand like a living thing and asked, "What does Ben's mother want to become?" Now she was performing kindness. "I'm doing well, Lauren," I replied flatly. That's when I saw it. Beneath the candlestick, between the table's edge, a small black dot. A lens, blinking like an eye. A hidden camera. Lauren's smile didn't falter, but her eyes flickered. She knew I'd seen it. And she knew that I knew she knew. Benjamin's fork clattered. "Mom, what are you?" His voice trembled. In 4 years with her, my son had become a man who always felt fear first. I smiled then, not warmly, the kind of smile that ignites a fire in darkness. What 40 years as a hospice nurse taught me was what the dying truly want, not salvation. Truth, documentation. The light is not frightening, I said. It's simply honest. Lauren's lips tightened. I read it in the imperceptible muscles of her face: fear, calculation, then something worse: concealment. Light seeps through cracks. Something ancient crystallized in my chest. All the recordings Daniel had left behind. The angel sculpture on the shelf. I would remember it all. Clara's fingers touched my hand beneath the tablecloth. A gesture only visible below the table edge. That girl understood. At 16, she was already learning how to survive in that house. Shall we toast? Lauren's voice returned to camera pitch. To a family finally united in heart. Benjamin raised his glass. Clara followed. I lifted mine, studying its rim as only a hospice nurse would. That night, I made a single decision. I would not fight. Instead, I would record. If someone sought to capture my family on film, then I would capture them in truth. Not as images, but as evidence. Light would reveal the cracks. I would build proof within the silence. For Benjamin and Clara. For this house that Daniel left behind. Outside, snow continued falling. Pale, quiet, hiding nothing. Rivers Hill that winter marked the beginning of the longest night of my life. When Benjamin first spoke of Lauren, his voice carried the recklessness of sunlight. That was the first warning sign, mistaking it for love. "Mom, there's someone named Lauren. She's really special." 6 months later, he was already changing. His hands trembled. He couldn't make decisions anymore. I recognized the pattern from 40 years of nursing: the look of someone becoming sick. Daniel was still alive then. He watched me during the wedding ceremony. His eyes spoke what his mouth wouldn't: something is wrong here. But no one received that signal. Benjamin could no longer release Lauren's hand. It began with small things. "Ben, where did you go today?" Lauren asked at dinner. "I had coffee with colleagues from school." "Who? Give me their names." Benjamin hesitated. His lips quivered. "Just friends. Specifically. Tell me." He listed 5 names. Lauren seemed to memorize them. The following week, she told him that one of them had said they disliked him. He lost that friend without resistance. My son was simply a good man. An environmental science teacher, he believed in the world's balance. This made him vulnerable, perfect prey for someone like Lauren. When Clara was born, I encountered a new terror: the way Lauren looked at her daughter. Clara is mine. She will become what I choose. I wasn't shocked when I heard this. My hospice nurse's intuition sang out, this isn't illness. This is addiction. Lauren selected Clara's friends, only children from families Lauren approved of. She chose the schools, the books, the activities. Cameras lined Clara's bedroom. At 10 o'clock sharp, phones were confiscated. The location tracking app ran perpetually. But the most terrifying part wasn't surveillance. It was silence. When Clara turned 12, I found paper dolls hidden in Rivers Hill. Homemade, all headless. My head grandmother was gone too. Words were scrawled across them, don't tell. That's when I knew I was losing my granddaughter. No, I had already lost her. I tried to reach Benjamin several times. Ben, did you see what Clara? Mom, Lauren is doing her best. Her best? You don't see that as control? Lauren was hurt as a child. That's why. He always said the same thing. Lauren was hurt. As if those words were an incantation that justified everything. I lost my son in a way worse than death. Because he was still breathing. Still present. But he wasn't mine anymore. He was something Lauren had constructed. A year after Daniel died, Benjamin told me, Mom, Dad's old recording devices. I want to delete them. Lauren wants. Don't. That was my only act of resistance. They're from your father. Never erase them. From that moment, I began preparing something different. A way to save Benjamin and Clara. Not through fighting. Through another method entirely. Lauren still doesn't know what 40 years as a hospice nurse taught me. What I learned beside the dying as they slipped away. This once truth is recorded, it never truly disappears. And the strongest weapon isn't love or forgiveness or compromise. It's evidence. I retrieved Daniel's recordings. Inside them, his voice light seeps through cracks. Remember, as that winter deepened, I became certain. I would not win through fighting. I would win through documentation. The first text arrived midwinter. Don't react. They're filming you. I didn't recognize the number. No sender identification. But the message was accurate. Rivers Hill had already become a stage. More messages followed. All anonymous. Medical records. Forged. Clara. Forced medication. Verification needed. Legal action recommended. I printed them with shaking hands. In 40 years as a hospice nurse, I'd never experienced this, someone reaching out to help me. Simultaneously, a signal that danger was drawing closer. I called a lawyer. Patricia Mendez was in her early 50s, a partner at a Montana law firm. When I met her, I recognized something in her eyes, the same expression I'd seen in mirrors for decades. The look of someone who trusts evidence. First, we need to verify something, Patricia said in her office, beneath bright fluorescent lights. Clara's medical records. Are their prescriptions documented for her? No. Clara doesn't take anything, but Lauren fabricated them. She obtained prescriptions for dangerous medications under Clara's name. Those words jolted me awake. Lauren wasn't simply controlling. She was breaking laws, recording herself doing it. What can we do? I asked. Build a record. Everything. Patricia began redesigning Rivers Hill that day. Hidden cameras. Cloud recording. Security systems. This wasn't surveillance, it was self-defense. Documentation of intrusion. The first device went beneath the angel sculpture Daniel had left. I watched the small red light blink like a heartbeat. Everything is visible now, Patricia showed me on her phone. Audio. Video. The second device was a brooch. Silver, inherited from my mother. Inside, a concealed microphone. I wore it daily, a beating pulse against my chest. The third device was Clara. Grandma, she whispered during dinner. Can I install this? In her hand was a phone app. Automatic cloud backup. Recording every 5 minutes, saving perpetually. Clara, where did you? Mom put a hidden camera in my room. I want my own. When I heard those words, I was no longer a hospice nurse. Just a grandmother fighting not to lose her granddaughter. Install it, quietly. Benjamin understood. Or rather, I made him understand. Ben, this USB. Record everything daily. Mom, every conversation, every order, every threat, everything. His hands trembled, but he accepted it. We didn't speak, the three of us, but we united, in silence, through light and documentation. The following week, Lauren's message arrived. Ila, what did you tell Ben? I didn't respond. Then came a phone call. Mom? Lauren is saying. Don't speak, Ben. Keep recording. Around 10 o'clock, Lauren appeared at my door, knocking. Ila, let's talk. I opened it, looked into her eyes. For the first time, I saw fear there. What's the problem? Lauren asked. Her voice was soft, but her fingers shook. No problem. It will just become quiet. What will become quiet? I said nothing. The brooch beat like a heart, recording her whisper. After 1 week, it will be quiet, Lauren. I think you already sense that. The moment Lauren understood my meaning, her face transformed. Fear became rage. Rage became something far more dangerous. What are you doing? Recording. Like you. I closed the door. My hands didn't tremble. 40 years as a hospice nurse had prepared me. I was ready to face what was coming. I stayed awake all night, checking the app. Files in the cloud. Benjamin's USB. The brooch's recordings. All meticulously timestamped. Around 4 in the morning, I texted Patricia. Ready. What's next? Her reply came quickly. 10 a.m. tomorrow. My office. 2 more lawyers will be there. And the person who sent those texts. I looked at the living room. The red light beneath the angel sculpture. The brooch's weight. Clara's quiet breathing from the next room. Benjamin asleep on the sofa, taking medication he didn't understand. Tomorrow would begin. The real beginning. That winter night, for the first time, I slept without fear. Because now we had decided we would no longer be silent. We would speak through evidence. Through recorded truth. The livestream began at 8 o'clock Friday evening. Family reconciliation dinner, Lauren called it. A stage for 4 million subscribers. Gold banners. Candlelight. Organic wine. Perfect production. Perfect lies. That morning, Patricia texted. Ready? Tonight ends it. Everything. I replied. Benjamin and Clara? Both no. Start streaming. The cloud is live. Lawyers are on standby. Go. I took a deep breath. Held Daniel's recording device. Not for his voice but for his silence. At 7:50 p.m., we sat at the dining table. Lauren's makeup was flawless. The ring light caught it, making her shimmer. But her eyes trembled. Since our confrontation, she'd been preparing something. Good evening, everyone. Lauren's voice poured toward the camera. Perfect tone. Tonight is truly special. Our family. That's when Lauren moved. She lifted my wine glass. Pretended to drink. And inserted something. Hidden between her fingers. A small, white tablet. I saw it. With a hospice nurse's eyes. A sedative. Strong. My fingers froze. In that moment, Clara moved. Salt, Mom? Do you need some? Clara spoke with impossible naturalness. Too adult for a 16-year-old. Yes, Clara. Could you pass the salt? Clara stood, moving toward my glass. In one fluid motion, she switched them. Perfectly. Like a magician. Shall we toast? Lauren raised her glass toward the camera. To our family finally united. At last. Benjamin's face went pale. He knew, but he couldn't speak. The camera was on. Lauren drank. 1 sip. 2 sips. Her face changed. What's the taste? Lauren's voice slurred. It's a sedative, Lauren. I spoke calmly, but the camera was already zoomed on my face. Before 4 million viewers. Everything you did to me. Every way you controlled Clara. Every threat against Ben. Now you understand what it feels like to become dark. Lauren tried to stand. Her legs gave way. Clara, what did you do? What did you? Calm down, Mom. Clara's voice wasn't a child's voice anymore. It was the voice of someone who'd survived. Grandma told me to. I did it. The living room went silent. But the chat was exploding. 4 million people watching. Clara did what I asked. I said directly to the camera. She switched the glasses. Because she understands now. She's understood for a long time. You were poisoning her. Drugging her without records. Breaking laws while filming yourself. Lauren's eyes were closing. Call an ambulance, I said. My voice was steady. Lauren Hart requires immediate medical attention. She's exhibited signs of drug-induced collapse. She's also committed fraud, falsified medical documents, administered unauthorized substances to a minor, and engaged in systematic psychological abuse. I pointed at the camera. Everything you're watching right now is evidence. Clara gripped my hand. Her fingers shook, but her eyes weren't crying. We did it, Grandma. Yes, we did. Benjamin sat on the stairs, his face in his hands. The livestream remained active. 4 hours later, in the hospital, Lauren lay in an ICU bed. Police were collecting records. Patricia sat beside me. Forged medical documents. Unauthorized medication to a minor. Fraud. Domestic abuse. Coercion. Enough. We don't need anything else. And Benjamin? He's in recovery. He'll begin psychological counseling. But this time, it's his choice. Not forced. I looked at the angel sculpture. The small red light still blinked. I held Daniel's recording device. His voice emerged. Light seeps through cracks. Yes, it did. I didn't seek revenge. Instead, I recorded. And that was stronger. Spring arrived. When I left the courthouse, I was struck by how beautiful the weather was. The day a verdict is delivered shouldn't be this bright. Mandatory psychiatric treatment. 5 years probation. A restraining order. Additional investigation for fraudulent documentation. Everything was printed on paper. The lawyers shook hands. Patricia didn't smile. Like nurses, lawyers understand that justice isn't happiness. It's over, Ila, Patricia said. Yes, it is, I replied, uncertain where my voice came from. For 4 months, I'd waited for this moment. Now that it arrived, I felt only emptiness. When I returned to Rivers Hill, Benjamin was waiting at the door. He had lost weight. His face had become clearer. The face I'd seen countless times in 40 years, the face of someone waking from death. Mom, he said it, and we embraced. I didn't cry, neither did he. We simply stood there, in the doorway, listening to the season change. Clara was in the garden. She was planting lavender, with her own hands, soil under her fingernails, a version of her I'd never seen. Grandma, Clara looked up. Her eyes were still 16 years old, but something had shifted. Not fear, something else entirely. What are you doing? Rebuilding, starting new. I sat beside her, on the earth, not caring that my clothes would get dirty. Are you okay, Clara? I don't know. I helped do something bad to Mom. But I was also glad I could help you. Is that strange? I looked at Clara's hands. Covered in soil. Alive. It's not strange. That's what it means to be human. Lavender scent drifted across us. The smell of spring becoming summer. That night, I sat alone in the living room. The angel sculpture still stood on the shelf. But the red light was gone. Patricia had removed all the devices. The evidence collection was complete. I played Daniel's recording. Heard his voice again. Light seeps through cracks. Yes, it had. But now I understood it wasn't light for destruction. It was light for healing. Justice wasn't revenge. Justice was quiet. Like a judge's gavel. One dissent. Then silence. 6 months later, we opened Safe Haven Rivers Foundation. A nonprofit based in Rivers Hill. Psychological counseling. Legal support. Programs for domestic abuse survivors over 60. Patricia became executive director. I handled counseling operations, drawing on my 4 decades as a hospice nurse. Benjamin became our first counselor. I needed help, he said during his interview. I thought maybe I could help others. I looked at my son's face. Still healing, but no longer broken. Clara was a high school senior now. She wanted to study psychology. Trauma and recovery. Will I be able to help, Grandma? She asked one summer night, sitting on the porch steps. You already are. Rivers Hill learned to breathe again. Spring lavender. Summer sunflowers. In autumn's silence, we became quiet. But it was a different silence. Not the silence of fear. The silence of healing. When I stand on the porch now, I no longer see the light of lies. Instead, I see honest light painting the roof. Justice isn't a shout. I understand this now. The strongest justice is as steady as a calm heartbeat, rhythmic, reaching everywhere. Like light, people ask if I've forgiven Lauren. I tell them this forgiveness isn't mine to give. It's something time grants. But I've already moved forward. Because hatred is also a form of surveillance. And I'm not being watched anymore. Instead, I record the stairs of Safe Haven. People coming for counseling. Benjamin standing, holding someone's hand. Clara filling notebooks with careful observations. Lavender fragrance. The process of healing. I record it all, not in photographs, in memory. One afternoon, Patricia came to my office. I found who sent you those anonymous texts. Who? Lauren's ex-partner. Someone she abused in her first marriage. She was watching for a way to help you. She found you and kept watching. I was silent, knowing someone had seen me. Do you want to thank her? Patricia asked. No, just, thank you, to her, for showing me I wasn't alone. I looked out the window. Rivers Hill's garden came into view. Lavender blooming. This journey that began in white winter snow. I recorded it all, every moment, and the recorded moments became evidence. Evidence became justice. But the greatest transformation happened elsewhere. Inside me. In 40 years as a hospice nurse, I learned that everyone is equal before death. Now I understand everyone is equal before suffering. And before healing, everyone stands together. I tell newcomers at the door. Hello, I'm Ila Rivers. This house is called Rivers Hill. You will become quiet here. But not with silence, with the sound of healing. And they come inside. Every day, someone comes. Taking my hand. At last, we've finally become quiet.